If you were to place a curse on somebody, who would you curse, and what would the curse be?
Oh, I mean, there's so many. I mean, I'm a very vengeful person, so I would curse Piers Morgan to an eternity of nobody paying any attention to him.
Okay, yeah.
I would curse James Corden to an eternity of watching his favourite movies and having someone really annoying who he absolutely hates crop up in the middle and ruin it for him.
That's mean.
Like, that's the point of a curse. I would... Sorry, what did
you make a solid point.
Did you want me to curse him to an eternity of aromatherapy or something? Like, I would curse Ed Sheeran to an eternity of Spice Girls music.
Mm-hmm.
I would curse the cat from our local pub to a lifetime of being chased by ravenous hounds.
Why? What have you got against Captain?
Don't like him. Do not care for Captain. Steals attention.
Is it Captain or is it all cats?
All cats generally, Captain specifically.
Okay, whatever. You're making enemies, but sure.
Again, it's cursing. You don't win friends with curses.
Okay.
And I would curse you to an eternity of male pattern baldness and people constantly referring to it.
I mean, is that a bad curse? Like, from experience, do you know?
So funny. Give me a fucking button.
Some films are fine just the way they are. Other films sometimes take it way too far. But really, how bad could it get? Let's go beyond the box set.
Welcome everybody to Beyond the Box Set, a podcast where we pitch prequels, sequels and spin-offs to films that don't have any. I'm Harry, joining me as always is John.
Hello.
And this week we are doing a horror movie, I guess.
We are.
Is it a horror movie? Yeah, no.
Horror,
maybe?
comedy? Both? Neither?
I got scared by it the first time I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
For ages.
So what was it? What film were we discussing?
It dragged me to hell.
Sam Raimi's Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah.
Your choice. So why did you choose this movie?
Thought it'd be good fun.
Yeah.
I remember it being a bit ridiculous. Just anything that's just on the ridiculous scale at all. It's probably a good shout for this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
So, yes, here it is, Drag Me to Hell. What do you think?
Oh, I loved it.
Had you seen it before?
I had not, no.
Okay.
I'd heard of it, and I knew it was the kind of thing I would like. I've seen other Sam Raimi films, Evil Dead trilogy, and obviously the Spider-Man films.
Yeah.
But no, I'd not seen this one. And, yeah, I knew very early, and this was my kind of film.
Yeah.
When did you first see it?
I first saw it when it came out in the cinema.
Oh. Did your mum take you to see it by any chance?
No, I went with school friends.
Okay, because it seems like the kind of thing your mum would do.
Fair. Yeah.
Based on past experience. Like.
No, I went with school friends. We got on the train and travelled for 50 miles to get to the nearest cinema.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the film that was chosen. I didn't choose it.
No?
I was terrified by this film.
Really?
Yeah, I did not appreciate watching this in the cinema. But then watching it back the other night, yeah, it's great fun. It's a good film. I'd be interested to watch more Sam Raimi horror films.
Well, Sam Raimi films, well, you must have seen the Spider-Man.
Just the Spider-Man films.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing I was going to ask you. Watching this, did you get a sense of anything that was in Spider-Man in this?
No, not at all.
It's weird because normally when you watch a film by the same director, like directors have certain styles, and you're like, oh, I can see what the guy brought to this, right? But yeah, I mean, if you've seen The Evil Dead, they are very much in this style, like very like silly, very full on, very like body horror and physical, and really, really funny and over the top.
Yeah.
I believe what plagues you is the Lamia.
Lamia, that's the word the old woman used.
The black goat, only summoned by gypsies for their darkest deeds. For the first 3 days, the Lamia appears as a nasty spirit that torments its victim. After that, it reveals itself to be a taker of souls and comes for the owner of the accursed object.
What were some highlights for you?
Highlights of this film for me. I mean, I just loved the tone. I think the tone of these films, and again, it's very similar to Evil Dead, because it's not like they're bad. Like, and it's not like they're campy. Well, it's very camp, but it's camp in a way that's not like wink, wink, nudge, nudge kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It's just everything is so heightened and so over the top and so like. What would you say is the difference between a bad movie and a silly movie? Because I think this is a silly movie, but I don't think it's a bad movie.
I think a silly movie knows what it is.
Yeah.
Bad movie does not. Bad movie is trying to be something different.
Sure. Because it got me thinking of like The Room, which I also really enjoy. But The Room is a bad movie, and that's what makes it really fun.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think that's a very good description. It's self-aware. It knows exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And I appreciated that. So this film stars Alison Lohman, who I've not really seen in much else, as a girl called Christine.
I've never heard of her before.
No.
And the only person I heard of in this film was Justin Long. We'll get to him.
We'll get to Justin Long, yeah. Alison Lohman plays Christine, who is a young bank loan
Associate?
Executive, yeah, something. She works in a bank and has a decent job in a bank.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's this very kind of pretty white bread girl with a up and coming career kind of thing. And she's hoping to get a promotion to assistant manager. And she's been placed in direct competition with Stu, her recently employed colleague, who she's more qualified than because she's been there longer. Yeah, she basically asks the boss, like, so you made a decision yet on the assistant manager's job? And he's like, well, not yet. It's between you and Stu. It's like, which seems super unprofessional.
Oh, God, yeah.
It's like, you two are now in a direct dogfight for this role.
Yeah.
So impress me.
Yeah.
And then we get a whole bunch of things where she goes out for lunch and he asks to get turkey sub for him.
He asked her to go out for lunch.
He asks to get... What we're getting is that she's a bit of a doormat.
Yeah.
And that's the reason that she's not getting by in this job, is that she's a bit of a wet blanket, a bit of a soft touch. And he actually says to her, the reason that he doesn't think she'll get the role is that he thinks she's not capable of making hard decisions. And then, as luck would have it, this ridiculously decrepit old lady comes staggering in. And the way they've styled her is just so funny and like... so like on the nose, like she's got the little headscarf around her neck, she's all hunched over, she's got rotten dentures.
Yeah.
Why would you have rotten dentures?
I don't know.
Why would you have a dentures
I'm
made
so confused by it.
She's only got one eye. She's about to be evicted from her house that she's lived in all of her life. She always paid her bills on time, but then the sickness took away her eye and now she's fallen behind on her rent and she needs an extension on her loan.
Yeah.
But she's already had 2 extensions, so she's 3 extensions down. And Christine feels very sorry for her because she's a very pathetic old woman, but then she's kind of like, I'll have to check with my boss. I don't think they're going to approve this loan. And the boss kind of says, well, it's your call. And then she looks over and the old woman's like taking her dentures out and stealing all the sweets. Just really like being gross.
Coughs up some phlegm into a napkin.
Yes. Does it all. Was that the same napkin that crops up repeatedly through the film?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We'll get to that napkin.
Weirdly not weighed down by the phlegm.
No, not at all.
Ever.
No, it's very, very sprightly. So she reluctantly turns the old lady down. And then the old lady kind of gets down on her hands and knees and she begs. She's like, I'm a proud woman. I've never begged for anything in my life, but this I beg. She kind of grabs Christine's dress and pulls at it, and then she's like, get away from me, and the old lady falls over, and then she's like, you shamed me. And then she curses. She steals a button from her.
Well, no, that's later.
Oh, is that later she steals the button?
So then she gets taken up by security at this point, and so then Christine's finished her day or whatever. And
before that happens though, the boss says, you handled that just right.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, did she?
Yeah. Well, security had to carry her out. Like,
I think
it's not great.
I feel any situation where an 80, like a very old lady falls on the floor and is dragged away by security while screaming, you shamed me.
Yeah, after begging.
After begging on her
when
hands.
there's other customers in the room.
Yeah, that's not a good PR for the bank.
No.
There's no way that's the best way of handling it.
Like in Mary Poppins, shit went down when a kid just went, give me my money.
Yeah.
The whole bank closed down. People lost jobs.
Yes.
Lost hats.
They lost hats, they did.
Yeah, and so then Christine goes down to the car park to leave, and she's just scared by this dark car park. Gets in her car, and then, lovely trope, the old lady sitting in the back seat.
Yes.
And then we get the first of one of the funny fightish scenes.
Again, it went on forever.
Didn't it just? So, like, she managed to... The old lady yanked out some of her hair.
Huge clump of her hair, yeah.
Huge clump of her hair. Her dentures fell out at one point.
And that's when she like bites on Christine's chin and she's
and
gumming on the chin. There's spit everywhere. It's so gross.
Yeah. I mean, who produces that much spit?
Old ladies in horror movies. Yeah.
I thought old people just didn't produce enough.
Yeah, they dry up. Well, not this one. This one's still... All those fluids are flowing. Yeah.
Wet as a water balloon.
Wet as a water balloon.
I made it up. And...
Wow.
Christine manages to kick her out of the car, and then the old lady just disappears. Like, she essentially sinks into the ground. Christine's like, oh, wait, where is she? Where's she gone? She's looking up like, out of her window and stuff, and at this point I'm just shouting, get out of the other side of the car and just outrun her.
Yeah.
She's an old lady, like in her late 90s.
Well, I mean, given the strength she's already exhibited, I wouldn't be surprised if she could, in fact, outrun Christine.
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, and then the old lady just rises up from seemingly underneath the car with a breeze block. The God knows where she got it from.
I think she'd had that in her bag the whole time.
Okay, sure. Smashes it through the window, and then somehow that unlocks the car door and she just opens the door.
Yes.
Yeah, and then eventually the fight goes on. Christine bumps her head. The old lady steals a button, places a curse on the button, gives the button back. Now Christine is cursed.
She is now cursed. Yeah.
She gotta die.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
technically not, actually.
Yeah. One thing I got from this film is that the Eastern European characters in this film are petty as fuck. Like, little boy steals necklace, eternity in hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Woman does her job, eternity in hell. Like,
Yeah.
it is very, very petty and vengeful. Right? But yeah, so now Christine is, not that she knows it yet, but she's cursed. So then she's getting comforted by her boyfriend, Justin Long, who's
Professor.
Justin Long is playing a professor in this film, which is wonderful.
Yes,
Do we ever
yes,
find out
yes.
what he's a professor of?
No.
Okay, so
The dark arts.
if only, professor of skepticism.
If somebody fancied Tristan Long,
Yes,
saying if, like I said,
if it was
you're
possible that
something,
anyone.
I mean, no, he's great. Yes, to say that someone fancies Tristan Long, would they long for him?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
How long have you had that one in your back pocket?
Oh, in about 5 seconds.
Oh, okay, good.
It was better in my head.
Yeah, thanks for sharing.
That's right.
They long for Justin Long. I was thinking it'd be a good porn star name.
Yes, it would.
Justin Long. Yeah. Justin Gerfy.
Just out, just in.
Just out, just in. Definitely seen that movie. Just out, just in.
God.
Yeah, so he's walking her home and like comforting her and stuff, and then she kind of says, just out of nowhere, you know what, I know this is going to sound weird, but I'm going to want to get my fortune told.
You mean she's standing outside a fortune
She sees a fortune
like,
teller.
Yeah, like they're parked outside a fortune teller's
Sure,
shop.
as luck would have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's very sceptical, but
Yeah, as anyone should be.
indeed, absolutely. There's a really great scene where he's asking a bunch of like really fortune tellery kind of questions.
Oh, yeah,
like, you know, have you experienced a loss recently, or
Are you in money?
are you in? Yeah, exactly. No, it's not.
And she's like, yes, I am. I'm a banker.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, are you a banker?
Yeah. And all the while, you can just see Justin Long in the background just making the best faces,
Yeah.
just doing all the reactions. Like, can you believe this shit?
You work with money,
That's right.
and you've recently lost something.
No, I don't think so.
No. No, you haven't lost anything. But something's been taken from you.
No.
A button.
Oh my god. Yes.
So then the psychic kind of reluctantly says that he believes that she's been cursed. Mm-hmm. So she goes home, and then a lot of horrible stuff starts happening to her. So she's asleep, and there's all these flies buzzing around her, and like they're going up her nose. And does it go up one nostril, buzz around in her head for a bit, and then go down the other one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a lot of space up in there.
Huge amounts, yeah. Maybe for her, she seemed pretty dumb. The demon starts to haunt her in her fabulous house.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got like a middle management kind of job, like a middling job in a bank, and she lives alone in this pretty big-looking country house
Yeah, it's a massive house.
with so many pots and pans. Like, she lives alone. Why does she need that many pots and pans?
One for each ingredient.
She's got this amazing like country kitchen basically with all this stuff, and it's obviously because when the house starts to be being haunted, then obviously they'll start rattling. But yeah, why does she not have like a roommate?
I don't know.
They explain why she doesn't have parents in the film, but they never explain why she doesn't have any friends.
No.
Maybe that's because she's secretly evil.
And they also never explain why Justin Long never seems to want to like, spend the night with her.
No,
Or
true.
anything. Given that right now, she's clearly going through some shit.
Yeah.
Like, whether you believe her or not, she is going through some stuff.
Yes.
And like she's losing hair left, right, and centre.
That doesn't seem to bother her, though.
No.
It doesn't seem to stick.
True. Switch is a weird keep scene.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, and there's an amazing scene here where the next day she goes to the bank and she's training up Stu, her rival, on something, and she gets a nosebleed that quickly turns into a nose fountain.
Yes.
Like, she's literally, she loses a good couple of pints of blood, just spewing out of her nose and mouth. She's like vomiting.
onto her boss.
Onto her boss, who just says really deadpan, "Did any go in my mouth?" Like. Also, remember when Octavia Spencer was in this movie?
Fucking hell.
We were watching this film, and this is happening. Alison Lohman is spewing blood out of her nose and mouth onto the boss. In the meanwhile, just like fuzzily in the background, just really like not in frame at all. I was like, is that Octavia Spencer?
And it's not even a questionable thing. Like, it 100%
It absolutely
is.
was Octavia Spencer, yeah.
She's literally just a background extra.
Yeah, no lines.
Who has no lines, one facial expression, and is in it for about 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Her career has come on.
It really has. Like, I was thinking, because we had the same thing in Being John Malkovich, where she has more of a character in that, but she's like Lady in Elevator. Mm-hmm. And that was in 1999. So 10 years later, she was still just doing background extra work.
Fucking hell.
And yet, like, I'm sure, like, 2 years later, she was in The Help and won an Oscar. Like, she really got an upswing. Like, she went from extra to Oscar winner super fast. Like, I wonder if she had scenes cut or if that's literally all she did.
I don't know.
I can't think where her character would fall if there was
I
one.
love little cameos like that.
Oh, me too.
Because maybe that was just a cameo at that point, but she's not big enough for a cameo.
Well, it wasn't even.
But she doesn't feel small enough for just be a background extra.
Well, you'd think if it was a Octavia Spencer cameo, they'd at least give her like a line, or like put her on camera. She's literally out of focus in the background of a scene.
Yeah. I did notice recently I was watching the Mission Impossible films in build-up for the new one, obviously. And in Mission Impossible 3, I think it is, someone's going through an airport and in the background you see someone who's just gone through a metal detector and it's gone off something, someone's just scanning them, with a handheld device. That person is Richard Branson.
Oh, the millionaire Richard Branson.
Yeah, as in Virgin.
Okay.
But that's it. The camera is just panning across and he's in it for a fraction of a second.
Yeah. Well, he's not an actor, though. That's different. Like, that is a classic kind of cameo by someone who can't act, to just put them in the background so they can go, hey, I was in that film.
Yeah, it's tiny. It's great. I love it.
Okay, cool. So she does all that, and she gets sent home, obviously. She decides to revisit the old woman and like beg for forgiveness.
Yeah.
And then she turns up at the old woman's granddaughter's house.
Yeah.
The granddaughter opens the door. And she says, Grandma's downstairs. And so Christine goes downstairs, and Grandma is dead and is laid out on a table. In this massive, like, wake is happening. And there's all these, a huge crowd of people that's having this, like, party with lots of finger foods and, music is playing. And so she sees the old lady, and she's shocked, and she trips, and she falls onto the table on top of the old lady's corpse. And the old lady vomits all over her again.
Well, the table then breaks.
The table breaks, yes.
And she lands with the old lady on top of her.
And the old lady then
just empties her stomach.
spews up.
Into Christine's mouth.
Yes, again. Why does nobody in this film have a gag reflex?
I don't know.
Like, because there's also the scene. I mean, people vomit all the time.
Other than the old lady.
Other than the old lady who vomits. But even she, like, there's a scene in the car fight where Christine shoves a wooden
that's
thing
true.
right into the back of her throat.
Yeah,
and she just kind of goes,
a stapler, isn't it?
a stapler, right into the back of her throat. And she just kind of goes, and then pulls it out again. But that would be like instant vomit. Like,
Yeah.
it's weird. Yeah, there's so much shit going into Christine's mouth in this film. Gross. Yeah, and then basically the little girl says, you deserve everything that is coming to you. So she's not getting out of it that easily, basically. So she goes back to the fortune teller and says, please, there must be something. What can I do? How do I lift this curse? And he says, well, you could try a blood offering, maybe sacrifice a small animal, maybe a chicken. And she's like, I can't sacrifice animals. I volunteer at the puppy centre.
Yeah.
Another great line of dialogue.
Which is weird, because when we get home, it's real that she's got a kitten.
Yes.
Well, she volunteers at a puppy centre.
She just loves all animals.
Why would you not have a puppy? By the puppy centre, what is the puppy centre?
There's no such thing. I don't think there's any such thing as a puppy centre.
Because, like, if it's, rescuing dogs or bringing up guide dogs or something, then, I understand what that is. But a puppy centre? Don't know what that is. Say she is rescuing dogs and she's up for having a pet. You'd take a dog. Surely.
Because they're superior to cats.
Well, no, but if that's the charity you're working for, you're going to support that charity.
Well, she does have a full-time job, and you can't really have a dog if you live alone and you have a full-time job. Whereas a cat is more manageable for,
That's true, because cats are just the better.
I think that kitten appears earlier in the film.
Yeah,
and the moment I saw that kitten on the screen, that cute little kitten, I was like,
that's not going to end well.
That cat is not going to is not going to survive this film. That kitten is going to die.
Then how do I get rid of this?
You could attempt to appease the spirit. The simplest way would be a blood offering. A small creature could be sacrificed. A chicken, perhaps.
No way! Look, I'm a vegetarian. I volunteer at the puppy shelter, for Christ's sake. I don't go around killing animals.
You will be surprised what you'll be willing to do when the Lamia comes for you.
And so he's like, you could sacrifice a chicken or a cat, and she's like, I couldn't possibly.
Yeah.
But then she kind of defaults to the cat.
Well, it's when the point where she doesn't really have much of an option.
Oh, true, because she gets
the demon or whatever stalks her for a bit, and then in her bedroom, it invisibly grabs her and just like throws her about the room. Just like throws her against the ceiling, throws her against the floor, throws her against the metal wardrobe. She feels no pain.
Oh no, she's made of plastic.
She gets up straight away and she's like, right, I'm killing that cat.
Yes.
And then next scene, she's burying the cat.
Yeah.
And then, another one of my favourite bits, Justin Long comes into the garden, she quickly walks away from the grave and just drops the shovel there, subtly, and sort of stands in the middle and says, oh, I was doing some gardening. And he's like, wait, is that blood? And then she's like, what? And then looks at the grave for like a solid 2 seconds. 2-3 seconds.
She has no poker face in the film at all.
Nothing at all. Like, oh, is that blood? Oh, what you mean over there on that grave?
Yeah.
No, it's not blood. No.
Near that bloody shovel. We didn't talk about the bit as well where the demon possesses her phone and makes it charge down in like 3 seconds.
Oh, yeah. And puts a picture of the old lady.
And the old lady, yeah, that's really funny. It's abusing her by text. I love it. Like, yeah, so she kills the cat and then she thinks that all is going to be well. Mm-hmm. She thinks she's lifted the curse. And like Justin Long's like, I know we were supposed to have dinner with my parents tonight, but you've been through a lot these past couple of days, so maybe we should cancel. And she's like, no, I really want to go. I'm like, why? Don't go. It's insanity. Also, we found out earlier that her parents or her mother doesn't approve. His mother doesn't approve of her because there's the scene where she phones him up. She's in Justin Long's office.
There's a lot of her looking through doorways that people should have closed, and then people talk about her.
Yes, lots of that.
Yeah.
That's definitely a drinking game.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
Yeah.
And this was one of them. So yeah, Justin Long has a conversation with his mum, I think, over the phone.
Knowing that she's just left and is probably still outside.
Yeah, and the door is not closed, and she can physically see him.
The door is ajar.
And hear him.
Yeah, and he's having this conversation on speakerphone.
Yeah.
So she can absolutely hear it.
No, it's not speakerphone, just the things he's saying. Oh, no, it's speakerphone.
No, it is on speakerphone.
Yeah.
Christine can literally hear everything.
Because she's like, oh, what about the old girlfriend you had? Like, she was good. She's doing this now. Like,
yeah.
Why don't you have her instead?
Anyway, so she decides to go to the parents' dinner place. So she shows up looking ridiculous.
Yeah, looking like something out of La La Land. Bright yellow dress, bright yellow hair, as is throughout the whole film, and somehow everything that's lit in these few scenes is bright yellow. So she is looking like a naked Simpson.
Basically. Yes. And again, she's had her hair ripped out at least 3 times by this point, but
and
her hair
immaculate.
It's immaculate, and it's like it's at least it's like so much longer than it was in the previous scenes. It's like she's obviously like glued in a weave, like.
Yeah, I guess.
So she turns up at the parents' like mansion, and they're quite snobby. They have a cat which does not approve of her.
No,
it senses the evil surrounding her.
Yeah, and they don't feel like cat people.
No.
They don't feel like dog people either, but they just feel like they'd be...
No, I think they're cat people because they're...
anti-animals.
No, I think they're cat people, definitely. They're cold and snobbish and heartless. I think that's definitely cat person traits.
Sure. No, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so then we sit down to this dinner scene.
She's baked a cake.
She has baked the worst-looking cake in history.
It does look grotesque.
But also, it's never like a joke that it's a bad cake.
No.
Like, they're just like, oh, you baked a cake, which is sort of kind of going along with the whole, like, we don't like you.
Yeah, sure.
Sort of thing.
It's like, is that what they do on the farm?
Yeah, and then she's like, well, no. Well, actually, yes.
Yes, I did learn to make this
I was born in a barn.
Yeah.
And, like, oh, come on. Like,
I was so sure that the cat was going to be in the cake. I'm disappointed. I thought that was what it was going to be.
Nah. Well, I mean, I've already seen this one.
You'd seen Senior, yeah. As it turns out, the cake just has an eye. Right?
Yeah,
it's not
only in her imagination anyway.
Yeah.
It's weird the things that only she could see, but then some things everyone else could see.
Yeah, I was never clear on that.
Because that then... So the cake has an eye, which she then stabs down, and the eye just sort of explodes into the cake or something, and it looks... It's disgusting.
Yeah.
And then she has a bit like a fit or something and coughs out the fly that climbed into her mouth when she was sleeping a few scenes ago. That, kind of was a nightmare.
Yes.
But turns out to be real. Mm-hmm. And then everyone else sees it.
Everyone sees that. And do they see the maggots as well on the cake?
No, they don't.
They don't? Okay, fine.
No, they just see the fly, and then they all look at the cake, which has got a few currants in it, and then it's like, oh, God. Yeah,
that's true, because Justin Long at no point ever sees any of the things that are happening to her.
Other than the fly, I think.
Other than the fly, yeah, he never sees
the parents see it, so I assume he sees it.
I guess, yeah, sure. So she has this whole meltdown at the parents' place because she sees the eye in the cake, and she stabs the cake, and then she coughs up a fly, and she screams. It's all very embarrassing. Mm-hmm. So then she runs back to the fortune teller and kind of says, look, I tried everything. I killed a cat. I killed that poor kitty. Yeah. And still the curse has not been lifted from me. Then he reveals that there may be someone who can help. Mm-hmm. But it's going to cost her $10,000. And we find out why. Because this person's obviously doing a roaring trade in these demonic exorcisms. Because this person, it's the medium from the beginning of the film, the old Spanish lady,
Mm-hmm.
who lives in a actual, it's not even a mansion, it's a palace. It is a literal palace with
Like-
chandeliers.
Pretty sure Beauty and the Beast was filmed there.
Totally, yeah. There's a crossover I'd like to see. They go there. Well, she has to raise the money first.
Yeah.
So she tries to sell everything she has, and she can't make enough money and stuff. She can't get an advance on the salary for the new job because she's not going to get it anymore because she's spewed up all over the boss, and he's going to offer it to... Oh, she's lost the big deal she was planning to push through has been lost as well. It's been cancelled. But it turns out, luckily, Justin Long swoops in and saves the day and basically pays the 10 grand for her.
Yeah.
Very nobly of him. I'd
Yeah.
say. Very nice.
He's a good boyfriend.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, so then she goes and visits this psychic. And this is where the film goes completely bananas.
Yeah, I was looking forward to this bit.
I love this. So the $10,000 plan is to summon the demon that's been haunting her, the Lamia, trap it in the body of a goat, which they bring into the room, and then kill the goat and, I guess, kill the demon in the process.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a good plan, yeah. I got my first big laugh when they just bring in a goat.
Yeah, because also the goat just sort of sat around a table with them.
Yeah.
As though they're all playing poker or something. It was...
Yeah, it comes in, it's like, meh, meh, meh. It's like really like struggling. Once it gets to the table, it's very docile.
Yeah.
It's just kind of sat there like, like
Yeah.
it's really funny. Yeah,
We'll see what happens.
yeah.
See where this goes.
It decides to follow.
What could go wrong?
It becomes engrossed in the seance, I guess. So she does this whole crazy seance where she's trying to summon the demon, and it's her, and she's got this assistant who is never named, I don't think, and then it's the psychic as well, and it's Christine, and they're all sat around this table chanting, "I open my body and soul to the dead" or something, and they do summon the demon, and the demon possesses the medium at first, and then as the medium has told her to do, she grabs the medium's hand and places it on the goat, and the spirit is then forced into the goat, and we get, I think, the best scene in the film.
Go on.
No, you go. What happens?
I don't remember.
You don't remember the key scene in the film when the goat goes from real goat to really bad CGI goat,
Oh, no, I remember that. I don't remember what he said.
and then says, "You tricked me, you vengeful bitch."
Yeah.
So funny.
Oh, that's great. I love a good goat impression.
How would you rate that one?
Yours? It was good. It was... Well, yeah, I'd rate it highly. I'd rate it... I was trying to think of some kind of good rating system. Like sheep on the scale of cow to goat or something. I don't know what I'm doing here.
I think that's still the nicest thing you've said to me all episode, but
Well, I rate you a sheep.
there was some kind of compliment in there. I don't know. I'll take the scraps I can get.
Okay. Sure.
You tricked me, you black-hearted whore!
No, Milos, no!
You bitch!
So then the assistant tries to kill the goat, but the goat manages to bite him and then go into him. And then the demon is possessing the
The
man, yeah,
The
the assistant,
assistant.
yes. And then the medium wakes up and manages to cast the demon out. But then in the exertion of all of this, she has a heart attack, I guess. And, well, she dies. It kills her.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And so she's dead. And then the fortune teller does really half-hearted CPR on her. Literally does like...
It's like three sort of pumps to...
3 pumps.
To the wrong part of the chest.
Yes.
Breathes into her mouth like once. I'm like, oh, damn.
Yeah, she's dead.
She gone.
She's gone, yes. By the way, at this point, the goat just disappeared.
Oh, yeah.
The goat was just like completely... I don't know where that goat went. Like, never seen again. It quietly exited the scene. Like, and yeah,
So
so
it's like, whoa, I was a bit mad. I was not
Yes,
expecting that. I'm going to...
I had a lucky escape.
There's a field out there. I'm going to go and sit in that field for a bit.
I'm going to go chew on some cans. Yeah.
All right. No, I'm not going in there again.
Well, where was it? I mean, they're in a mansion. Where's the petting zoo section of this mansion? But yeah, so she at first, Christine thinks that because the medium has managed to cast away the demon that she's saved, but the fortune teller tells her no, unfortunately not. It just cast the demon out of that room. You are still very much still cursed, and by the end of the night, you are going to be dragged into hell.
Yeah.
Then the fortune teller says, there is actually another way, which I didn't tell you before, because otherwise this would be a very short film, which is that if you can give the cursed button to somebody else as a gift and make them accept the gift, then you can pass it on and they will be dragged into hell. So then she goes to a diner somewhere and she sits there just eating loads of ice cream and like, hit me, and then trying to decide who she can give that button to. And she considers giving it to a man
He was very close to death.
he's very close to death, which seems cruel.
Yes, to eternity.
Yeah, that's it, because it's not like you're dooming someone to die, you're dooming someone to an eternity in hell.
Yeah.
And that guy's already been dealt a fairly poor hand. So
Yeah.
not very nice. But anyway, she has a conscience, an attack of conscience. She can't do it. She can't even give it to Stu, the colleague who's been going after her job, who we find out later has deliberately
It's been giving
fucked up the
documents
deal to rival companies to make sure to undermine her, basically.
Yeah.
But even knowing all that, she just can't bring herself to do it. So she takes the high road, and she keeps the button, and then she goes back to the fortune teller and says, "What about if I give it to someone who's already dead? Is that possible?" He's like, "Yeah, I guess that's possible."
Mm-hmm.
So then she goes to the old lady's grave, and then she uses it in an epic show of like strength and stamina, digs like a full 6-foot grave.
Mm-hmm.
Like she digs out the entire grave. Mm-hmm. She's standing like deeper than full standing height. Like she's standing height and then some. Like
Yeah.
so, like that would take you or me if we ever decided to dig up a grave for whatever reason.
Oh, I could bang that out in half an hour, I reckon.
Half an hour, really?
Yeah. Pretty strong.
Disagree.
I disagree with your disagreement again.
Seems to be a theme. Okay, half an hour.
I could do it.
Right. Okay. After this podcast, where's the nearest graveyard?
Give me a shovel.
Fine. Tune in next week for the exciting conclusions of this ill-begotten scheme.
Live from prison.
Yeah. So she digs up the old lady's coffin.
It's so deep that after a while, would you think, is she actually buried here?
Yeah, is this the right one? Is she still in that granddaughter's house, just sitting on that table, intermittently spewing? And it's a great classic horror movie scene because it's dark, it's middle of the night, it's raining, it's thunder and lightning. The rain is important, and so she uses the shovel to like force open the woman's mouth, shoves the envelope with a button deep into her mouth, and she's like, "Take it, you old bitch, take it. I give you this gift." And she thinks she's done it, but then she tries to get out of the grave, and because it's been raining so heavily, it floods, and she's like, she can't get out, it's too slippery. Then the old lady floats up and like kisses her again. So much mouth on mouth in this.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
Also grabs another chunk of her hair again.
Yes, more hair.
They simply have a fight, even though one of them is dead.
Yes,
She is a corpse with full rigor mortis.
Yeah, but
and is doing pretty well in a fight.
Yeah, she very much so.
Very nearly wins.
Yeah. And then Christine struggles, can't get out. Then there's a kind of a false ending, which I think might have been a better ending, where she gets basically the gravestone, or there's like a crucifix, isn't there? Mm-hmm. Falls into the grave, bangs Christine on the head, she passes out, falls under the water. Mm-hmm. And I genuinely thought that's where the film was going to end. Like, it looks like, oh, she's died, you know, you can't fight fate. It'd be like a Final Destination kind of ending.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of a cool dark ending. But no, she pulls out. She dramatically rises up again and drags herself out of the grave and thinks she's won.
Yeah.
And then it looks like everything's going. It looks like a happy ending because she wakes up the next day and everything's cool and everything's really soft focus and softly lit and she looked great. Again, her hair looks pristine despite everything. And she meets Justin Long at the train station and he's waiting for her with an engagement ring. And she stops to buy a really expensive coat from a shop that's not open.
Yeah.
For reasons.
Yeah, which happens, because that's how retail works.
Yeah.
Oh, I was trying to buy this one thing. Yeah, we're not open. No, it's just this one thing now. Sorry, I didn't realise it was just one thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
okay.
I guess if it's a really expensive coat and they're opening in like 5 minutes, you'd be like, well, I'll take the sale, you know.
Well, yeah, maybe.
Can you pay in cash? We're not legally allowed to serve, but sure.
You open a tab.
Yeah. Then she meets him on the platform and he's about to propose to her, but before he does that, she kind of says, you know what, maybe I could have given that woman another extension on the loan, and she kind of comes clean kind of thing. Which I think was implied anyway, we already knew this. And then he's like, oh, that reminds me, you got some envelopes mixed up in my... Oh, no, he said, because then he notices the coat. That's why this whole rigmarole with the coat happens.
Yeah.
It's because he says, oh, you've got a new coat? She's like, yeah, I never want to wear the old one again, because the old one is the one that had the button that got lost. And he says, oh, that's a shame, I like that coat. And actually, I think we got mixed up in the car the other day, and you took an envelope with some documents of mine.
No, it was with his fancy penny that he found.
Yes, it was.
He collects coins.
No, but it was the scene where they're in the car earlier where she drops the envelope.
Oh, yeah, but that's why they mix it up.
Yeah, it was the penny, yeah.
Yeah, so like she had an envelope that had a penny in it, which is the same size and shape as the button that she had in another blank envelope. So they'll switch through.
You're right. Oh, this is more tightly plotted than I...
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Yeah, so he's like, oh, actually, so I've got that button. I thought you might want to sew it back on. And she's like, no! And she staggers backwards in shock and horror. And she falls onto the rail...
Onto the train tracks.
Onto the train tracks.
A high-speed train comes along.
And she gets...
And Justin Long's like, no! That's pretty much what he does.
I would rate that donkey.
Fair.
It was a very good...
Donkey out of...
Out of goat. Donkey out of goat.
Okay, cool.
No!
So that happens, and then the ground below her sort of opens up, sucks her under just as the train comes. So it's actually saving her life.
So, yeah, saved her from the... Well,
Yeah.
I mean, she's being dragged into an eternity of being burned in hell. Like, you see her flesh burn off her face at this point. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure getting hit by a train would be better than that, but...
Probably would. And Justin Long watches as she sort of sinks into the ground, the train goes, and then she gone.
She got... What's this?
I've done
What's
a
this
lot.
thing you started doing?
I've done a lot of things multiple times this episode.
You're
don't
picking
know,
up some accents and
I'm
some...
not being very creative. I think that's it. I'm tired, and so I'm not being creative, so the jokes just get reused.
Okay, that's fine.
So,
Do
yeah.
what you got to do, you know.
Prepare for more repeats.
Sure, great. Well, what did you think of this? That's the end of the film, basically. So, yeah, she gets dragged into hell, as the title of the film kind of suggests.
And then it finishes, like, right there. It just
Yeah.
goes straight into drag me to hell, and then credits.
True. I mean, I did like the fact that this was a tight 90 minutes.
Yes.
There was
that
no fat
good.
on this film particularly at all. It was nice and short, and nothing was wasted.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what did you think of that as an ending?
It was good. I liked it. And it's rare that you see a film where the protagonist doesn't win.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I liked it for that, and I liked it for having an abrupt ending.
Mm-hmm.
That's always good. And then, like, that's the end of the story right there. You don't need to see the aftermath.
Sure. Oh, no, yeah, there's no
Because
reason for any follow-up
Because
scenes.
that doesn't matter.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think I would have preferred it if she'd then given the button to Justin Long willingly to save herself, and then he'd been dragged into hell.
See, weirdly, that's the way I remember it happening. I remember it being him that gets sucked in,
Uh-huh.
and then she doesn't. I don't know why I remember that wrong.
No?
But, so do you think that'd be better that way?
I think it would, yeah, it would be more, like, because it felt like the ending was, oh, after all that, she got dragged into hell. Like, the film starts with her being, the threat of her being dragged into hell, and at the end, she is, in fact, dragged into hell. So nothing that happened mattered.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, this film, you know, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, and it's all very entertaining. But, yeah, I don't know, I think it would have been more like the full corruption of her character from being this kind of very sweet and nice, you know, sweet as apple pie kind of character, you know. She does a lot of pretty bad things to save herself, and she kills that cat. Not that I judge her, I would in a heartbeat. But I think, like, yeah, if it had been that at the end, out of desperation, she gives the penny to him and watches him being dragged into hell. I just think it would be a more powerful, effective ending, I think. Like, but anyway, they made the decision they made.
They did.
Yeah.
That they did.
And it was a good film.
It was, yeah. It was. I'm very glad I picked it because it was great fun.
Yes, I'm glad you picked it too. It was a good choice, definitely.
Yeah.
Do you like my new coat?
I do, I really do. What happened to the old one, though?
I threw it out. I never want to see it again.
Oh, no. Oh, that's too bad, because look what I found. I found this in the car. I thought maybe you could, sew back on. I think you might have my Standing Liberty order, because the envelopes kind of look the same. Chris, what's wrong?
Oh my god!
Hey! Hey! Oh, God!
Okay, let's move on to the section of the show that uses up my phone battery. Drinking games. Drink whenever something goes into someone's mouth.
Absolutely, yes. I wrote that one down too.
There's a lot of time. So I think that the old lady has two, because she has the stapler near the start, and then she has the envelope near the end. And then Christine has like
much.
a billion from the old lady.
Yeah.
So
Well, people vomit on them.
So the old lady's upper lip,
Yeah.
the old lady's vomit, a load of maggots,
Flies.
/ vomit,
Yeah.
fly.
The old lady's fist.
The old lady's fist / whole arm.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's it.
And also the boss gets the blood.
Oh yeah, he gets stuff in his mouth. Yeah,
gets blood,
maybe.
Maybe. It's unclear, but yeah.
So yeah, there's a fair amount.
There is so much gross out in this. Like I found
an old lady's eyeball.
an old lady's... Yeah, exactly. The eyeballs pop out.
Like my favourite bit.
This film was disgusting.
It absolutely was.
Christine, your nose.
Sure. Can you hold?
Let me help you.
No, I've got it under control.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Stop it! Did I get any in my mouth?
Oh my God.
Did I get any in my mouth?
All right, what you got?
Drink every time Christine loses hair.
Yes, solid.
She would be bald by the end of this film. There were so many shots where she literally just has a huge chunk of hair ripped out from the scalp. Like,
Yeah.
never bleeds. Like,
No.
the next day she wakes up. Every time she woke up, she had not just like full head of hair. It was like perfect, like it had that little wave in it and everything. Like she had perfect hair, despite it constantly being ripped out. It was so funny to me. Like,
Yeah. Drink for that goddamn fly.
Drink for the fly, yeah. Drink for the fly.
That fly comes around quite a lot of times, and weirdly, in a very rare instance in film general rules, the fly never signifies a dead body. Which normally, as soon as you hear a fly buzzing around, it means,
Someone's
it's a
dead.
dead body around.
Well, you could argue that Christine is the Walking Dead. Like, she's dead, but her card is marked. Like,
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
Drink for shock jumps involving the handkerchief.
Yes.
Yeah, jump scares involving the handkerchief.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that handkerchief crops up a lot.
Oh, yeah, it was absolutely a character in its own right. You know,
Yeah.
like Doctor Strange's Cloak of Levitation or Aladdin's Magic Carpet. It is.
It's in that.
It's its own fabric-based character.
Another thing also that goes into her mouth.
Yes.
She has to pull it out again, without vomiting, which is super impressive. Like.
Yeah. Drink for product placement.
Okay, what did you notice?
So obviously I noticed the platinum. Good.
Yeah, platinum card. Yeah, very good.
There were a lot of Apple products in this, which is understandable because I think at the time Justin Long was at his peak Mac PC adverts.
Sure, yeah.
Which I miss. Like, come on, just bring them back, like a little reunion thing.
I like how that's Justin Long's career. Like some actors peak with winning an Oscar or a great stage role. Justin Long peaked at Apple Mac adverts.
Yeah, and there were a few others like that. I think Sony was in there a couple of times, and stuff like that.
Yeah, very true. Last one for me is drink for financial references.
Yeah.
Because obviously the whole thing happens because this poor old woman can't get a third extension on the loan on her house. So Christine has to tear down for that. And then everything that happens after that is there's a lot of conversations about money. Like the fortune teller charges $60 for Christine to get the fortune reading, and Justin Long's like, that's too expensive. Then he charges her £10,000. And it's like there's a role reverse. So like basically the old woman can't afford to pay her rent or to pay her mortgage, whatever it might be, and consequently loses everything. Maybe that's the curse. It puts Christine in the same position at the end where she has to raise £10,000 very quickly.
That's very true, yeah.
To save her soul. And she can't do it. Unfortunately,
who's that 10 grand going to, by the way?
I assume it's the medium. I mean, she's the one who has the palace, so...
Yeah, but, like, she's dead.
Oh, you mean after she dies?
Yeah. She dead.
Good point. Yes. It's getting funny every time you do it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess Christine's got bigger problems to deal with since it's not really her money. Like, she never really asks, yeah. Maybe the assistant? I don't know. Whoever the next of kin is who gets that palace, like, inherits that when she dies. Yeah, I just think it's interesting that I don't know how much of it's trying to make a statement about anything, but yeah, there's definitely a reading of this film where it's all about the evils of capitalism, I guess, and you know, and maybe a bit of white privilege as well, because she gets bailed out because she's privileged enough to have a wealthy boyfriend, whereas the old lady is pretty much screwed.
Yeah,
that might be looking a bit too deeply into it, but I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know.
So yeah, drink for financial references.
Well, that's playing drinking games.
This is a good film for drinking games.
Right. So before we get into sequels, we like to talk about Patreon for a little bit.
Yes.
So if you do enjoy the show in any way and you feel like you want to support the show financially, $10,000, is that what we were just talking about?
Yeah.
Yes, if you don't need an extension on your mortgage and you do have some spare money, you're not going to, cast a spell on anybody, then, maybe throw some money our way. We could do with it. Like, John's got to keep his fish fed.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it for our financial commitments.
Feeding my fish.
That's the first thing I could think of. So
buying right pizza that you don't eat anymore.
Oh yeah, there's that. I still eat that.
Okay, good.
Maybe I'll eat that. I don't know. There's been a fly on it all night.
No, that wasn't.
Yes, so if you would like to support in any way, then please go to patreon.com/beyondtheboxset. From there, you can donate as much or as little as you want, and no matter how much you donate, you will get the same bonus features, which include a bonus show called Beyond the Box Set, where we review films in the cinema right now.
Yep.
Also, Patreon supporters can choose the film for us to review there. So any film that's not really qualifiable for the main show, then we'll just talk about it a little bit on that show. It's just a little bit more freedom for us. And also, any Patreon supporters can choose a film to go on the main show.
Yes.
So that film obviously must have no sequels, prequels, spin-offs of any kind. And we'll make them. And you are obviously invited to come on the episode as well.
Enjoy
and guest.
yourself.
If you're local, come in, or we'll come to you. If you're not local, then Skype exists. We'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
And also once a month we will do a 30-second ad slot for you. Now, that could be for anything you want. Could be your own podcast. Could be a memory stick. Could be a microphone. Could be a microphone brand. That makes more sense actually. Or it could be a set of 3 magnets from Lisbon.
Have you not done that one already?
Don't think so.
Okay. You were bitching about them not being even.
Oh yeah, I was. Yeah.
They're even less so now because
I don't know what you've done with them this week.
No, I was cleaning and knocked them, and didn't think
so. You cleaned, but you didn't tidy.
Basically, yes.
Cool. Also, why is it you don't put your cleaning products away? Listeners, by the way, John's kitchen is essentially just full of cleaning products.
Is it? Like what?
Well, I can see a Dettol there. The fairy liquid I'll excuse.
Oh, thank you.
But you've got a bag of unused dish sponges, other stuff. I'm lying, there's no other stuff.
This seems to be an issue for you.
Yeah, also you got 3 bottles of vinegar on the go. I know I've brought that up before, but what's with that?
You know what's with that? I have a fear of running out of vinegar.
An actual fear?
It keeps me up at night.
What could go wrong?
You could be having fish and chips and have no vinegar.
You've got 3 bottles!
Exactly, because I'm not going to run out of vinegar.
You're a monster!
I will not be judged by you.
Anyway, so patreon.com/beyondtheboxset.
Yes. As Harry mentioned, one of the bonuses you get from that is a 30-second advert slot, which you can also use to promote your podcast if you want to, if you're another podcast user. Many of our Patreons do have their own podcasts.
You've got a weird advertising voice.
How do you mean?
It's just not your normal voice.
What's different about it?
You go higher pitched.
Okay.
You're much more positive.
Okay. Why am I normally not positive?
Not as positive.
Okay. It's salesmanship.
Salesmanship, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one of our patrons is Julio from the Contrarians podcast, which is a fantastic show. They are a movie review podcast with a difference. Their format is that every episode they take a film and look at the rating it received on RottenTomatoes.com. And if the film has a fresh rating, they will give it a rotten review. If the film has a rotten rating, they will give it a fresh review.
Yeah.
So they will attempt to find the good in the bad and the bad in the good, as a way of kind of, looking at films from a different perspective, and also as kind of demonstrating that Rotten Tomatoes is not necessarily the most valid, accurate measure of whether a film is a good film or a bad film. Mm-hmm. It's a very funny, very interesting, very intelligent podcast. They are currently deep into their Summer of Travolta. They've been doing pretty much every John Travolta movie.
I feel like they've been doing that for months.
They have been doing it for months. They're really digging in. There's a lot of John Travolta films.
Yeah.
So they're currently in the midst of that. And yeah, I would really recommend it. That Julio has guested on this podcast on our That Thing You Do episode, which was very good fun, and one of our most downloaded episodes, in fact. So,
really?
Yeah, it's very popular. So yeah.
Weird. I'd never heard of it before doing it.
It's obviously got a fan base. So yeah, sure. Check them out. You can find them by searching the Contrarians podcast on any podcasting platform, such as iTunes. You can also find them at wearethecontrarians.com or by following them on Twitter at Contrarian Prime. So I would recommend it. It is a great show.
Good stuff.
And I wish they would record a proper promo slot so I wouldn't have to remember all their details every week. Every month. So yeah. Cool. So, are we done with our self-promo?
Seem to be.
Shall we get to some sequels?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You're first because it's my film, so go right ahead.
Great. Okay, so I have this week come up with 3 small ideas rather than one big one.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you to help me out with this a little bit.
Okay. I can't promise much other than they did.
They did. Harry's new the racially insensitive comedy stylings of Harry Chappell. Okay, so my first idea...
Or Mary Poppins references.
Is it? Oh, yes, you can do it. So, yeah, just remake it as Mary Poppins. Make it a musical. Who knows? It's not one of my ideas. Is it yours?
No.
Okay. So my first idea is set in the present day. So 10 years on. Well, 9, let's say 10 years. 2018.
Yeah, whatever,
2009, 2018, fine. It's going to be all about Justin Long, who, since he saw Christine being dragged into hell, has become obsessed with rescuing her.
Okay.
He feels very guilty and, he can't bear the thought that imagine somebody knowing that somebody you loved was literally burning in hell. Eternal agony. Very hard to deal with.
Depends.
Well,
if they were a dog person. You're
So,
right.
so if I was to be dragged into hell and you knew that I was every day suffering the worst of all torments,
I'll get a great night's sleep finally.
you would sleep very well. Replace me on the podcast. Never think of me again. Yeah.
Again, if you want to host on a podcast, then just write it.
This show is so good for my self-esteem. So yeah, in this sequel, Justin Long has spent the past 10 years obsessing about ways to rescue Christine and summon her back from the underworld. Maybe he's working with the fortune teller. Of course, yes. So they've spent the past 10 years trying to find different various ways of doing it. Mm-hmm. So eventually they think...
Are you paying him?
He seems to have a limitless supply of money, so sure.
Okay, sure.
I don't know if he's still a professor?
You don't stop being a professor just by
No, but I mean...
not professing.
Professing. Is that how...
It's my word of the day.
Is that what professors do? They profess?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm a professor. I profess. I don't know, but anyway, yeah, sure, he's paying.
Sorry, how did Justin Long get to being a professor? How much work goes into being a professor? Like, you got to do a PhD to become a doctor first, and then there's like more time after that. I don't know.
I'm not sure how it works, but yeah, it didn't seem plausible. But
No.
Sure. Like
at that age as well.
I know. I'm pretty sure he was like 25 when he made this movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, him and the fortune teller finally, after 10 years of failed experiments, think they've come up with a spell that will, in fact, bring back Christine from hell.
Okay.
And they cast the spell.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happens. I'm guessing they'll need to sacrifice something. Maybe a goat.
Sure.
Maybe something else. Maybe like something really comical, like an elephant.
All right. So they've actually got to
find an elephant.
They got to find an elephant. Yeah, that's step one.
So there's a whole subplot where they go to like Africa.
Step two was the whole summoning the demon and then putting it in the elephant, which, you know, you've got to get someone's the palm of their hand and put it on their forehead.
Yeah.
So they've got to get this demon possessed person up to the elephant.
Yes.
Put the hand on the forehead, and then all of a sudden they've got this manic elephant on their hands.
Yeah, and then there's going to be a CGI
that somehow they need to kill.
Yes.
And I'm sure it turns out that Professor Justin Long doesn't know how to kill an elephant. Because it's probably not an easy feat, especially when an elephant running around and an elephant is giant.
Yes.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good.
I like the idea of like a CGI elephant as well, going like, you bitch. That was my attempt at I don't think that was as good, was it? I was going for the...
You needed to do the arm,
Yeah,
the trunk arm. I mean,
that doesn't read on an audio format.
I know it's just for me, but like, you put the effort in.
I can do it if you want me to. So, you bitch.
There we go.
Yeah,
Thank you.
okay.
Yeah.
Do you appreciate that?
But it's better, yeah.
Good, okay. Yeah, so just...
Anyway.
I love this show. So yeah, there's going to be...
Film it one day.
Yes. So it's going to culminate in a ridiculous scene of a demonically possessed elephant, and then Justin Long has to maybe cut its throat, which takes a very long time because they have very big necks. But he succeeds.
Okay.
They do in fact manage to cut the elephant's throat and complete the ritual.
Yeah.
Thinking they will bring back Christine.
Yes.
And the doors of hell open, and some poor hellbound soul is thrust out of the flames and is panting, brought back to life. Unfortunately, it's not Christine.
Boy from the start?
No.
The old lady?
The old lady.
Well, was she there?
Well, I'm guessing that's the easiest way to mix it up, because maybe it's like, you know,
Why did
there's
she go
two
to
people
hell?
associated. What?
Why did she go to hell?
Why did the old lady go to hell? Because she cast some poor innocent bank teller to hell just because she did her job. She's not living her best life.
Okay, yeah, fair.
So yeah, she's brought the old lady back instead, because I guess that's the easiest mistake to make, because they're both two halves of the same coin in terms of the curse. And that's as far as I got, really. I was like, so if he brought the old lady back instead, maybe the old lady is like haunting him with hilarious consequences.
Is she haunting him, or is she just harassing him?
Maybe she's
Because if she's alive,
Yeah.
it's not haunting, it's harassing.
harassing it. Maybe she's like super grateful,
Okay, yeah.
and she's like in love with him now.
Weird.
Yeah.
I mean, assuming that old lady will get up with anything, so
Yeah.
I'm sure Justin Long wouldn't be too much for her.
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just like that idea of like Justin Long and the old woman, and yeah.
So what? Like, is he into it?
Oh no. Or maybe,
Okay.
Or maybe it starts as like a horror and it transitions into a romantic comedy.
Oh god.
I like cross-generational romantic comedy.
Oh no.
It all goes a bit Harold and Maude. Yeah.
She's still got the teeth
Oh yeah.
and the eye.
She comes back exactly as she was when
The
she
moment
last
she died.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah, so
Cool.
that's one.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Idea number 2 is one of my favourite crutches for these kind of things. A sidequel.
Ah, we don't do sequels that often.
No, I've done a few, but I like a good sidequel. So this is, maybe it's another film.
Awful word, by the way.
I know.
Sidequel.
I don't think it's not a real word. It's something
No.
I think I've tried to coin. But
Oh no, I think I've said it first on a podcast.
all right, fine, take it. Well, you just said it was awful, so. Fine.
Well, I'm not saying all my ideas are great.
So idea number 2, this might be a feature film. I'm thinking this might be a TV show, actually. This might work as a serialized TV show.
Okay,
So it might be a sidequel that becomes also more of a spin-off, actually.
sure.
And this is a TV show about a gang of fraudsters who trick wealthy, dumb white people into parting with their money by convincing them that they're under a demonic curse.
Okay.
Because I got a real sense in this film that if you weren't showing
The old lady wasn't dead the whole time.
Totally, yeah. But also that everyone's working together. I feel like the old lady, the medium, and the fortune teller could all totally be in cahoots. Because it's just like gaslighting Christine into thinking that she's got 3 days to live, whatever.
Yeah.
So maybe this will be like an origin story, like a prequel, about how they all come together. There's these misfits who come together somehow and they need to earn some money. And they realise that they're all good actors, they've got these different skill sets. And so they set her up, they identify a vulnerable target, like this nice young lady, working in a bank. The old lady gets into her little headscarf and she goes in and is like, please, I've never begged in all of my life, please. And like, you shamed me. Curses Christine, puts Christine in a position where she has to turn her down for money. Then curses her, basically. Then the fortune teller is conveniently set up like down the street, knowing that she's going to be walking down and will probably come in.
Yep.
Maybe there's like a sign in saying, half off on people with,
Is this like part of the Oceans franchise?
I think, yeah, because that's what I'm thinking. It's a very Oceans inspired kind of
Okay,
thing.
yeah.
Maybe Sandy Bollocks in this. So, once the girl goes to the fortune teller will put her through the ringer a little bit, make her try a few things, make her kill a few pets, really put the fear of God into her.
Yeah.
Maybe they also go into the house and all the things that she thinks is the demon.
Great, so that they're moving the pots and pans.
They're doing it all.
They're casting all these weird shadows under her door.
Yes.
Somehow flinging her around her own bedroom. Drugs.
Yes.
Just make it drugs.
Just gaslighting, just absolutely gaslighting her. And then eventually, when she's at her wit's end with like 1 day left, they're like, well, I do happen to know someone who might be able to help, but it's going to cost 10 grand. Then obviously she scrapes together her 10 grand. And then the medium comes in and does the whole fakey demonic, the seance. The whole fake goat thing happens.
Yeah.
Don't know how they fake that bit with the talking goat.
Goat costume.
I was thinking a guy in a goat suit, yeah.
Yeah. Get Jim Henson involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could do it.
Yeah. But the point, they're all actors, basically.
Someone who can do a good impression.
Yeah.
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray as...
Bill Murray in a goat costume.
Always here for that. Always here for that. That is a pitch that sells itself. Don't even need a script. Just Bill Murray in a goat costume. Sold.
The film.
The movie, yeah.
The movie.
Yeah.
No? We'll write that.
You've gone down to lamb.
Oh, man.
So I just think it's like following the film from that perspective. Maybe if it's a TV show, it's following week by week, like it's how they get together, and then just showing how they do it to other people as well.
Okay.
And so I guess maybe we see that actually what really happened to Christine is that she got so freaked out that she just accidentally stepped in front of the train and just got run over by the train.
Good.
She wasn't actually sucked into hell; she just killed herself.
Yeah, so the whole thing was like Justin Long's coping mechanism.
Possibly, yeah. Or maybe Justin Long's in on it too.
Okay.
Although that's a real long game. Also, he paid the $10,000 dollars. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah. No, okay. I went too far. Backtrack.
Oh, I've got a con. I mean, it will involve killing my my girlfriend.
I'm going to have to date someone for a year.
But I will get £10,000 out of it. It may be my money.
Yes.
Like, I'll front the money initially.
Okay, I will admit there are some plot holes. We're workshopping here. But yeah, I think that might be a fun TV show. Okay. So my final idea is my most fleshed out one.
Okay.
It's even got a title.
Ooh.
It's called Drag Me From Hell.
I was thinking that one.
Yeah.
There's a lot that you can do with this title. I'm looking forward to listening to submissions to see what happens.
It's going to be a good one, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good one. So this, again, is picks up 10 years later. Christine is in hell.
Mm-hmm.
She's been in hell for 10 years, suffering eternal torment. Unspeakable torment. Horrendous. And I'm thinking this will definitely also be directed by Sam Raimi.
Sure.
The idea is it's going to be largely set in hell.
Yeah.
So I think, because one of the many great things about this film is the visuals. I think Sam Raimi is a very visual director.
Mm-hmm.
He's really good at memorable visual scenes. All the goriness and the body horror is so good. So I really like the idea of him being able to like give him like a mega budget, give him a Spider-Man budget, and let him create hell. Let him like literally create hell on screen.
Sure, yeah.
There's not many films set in hell.
No, they're really not.
Considering it's such an interesting, idea. The only film I can think of that has like hell as a setting is South Park the movie.
Not seen it.
No. I would like to see Sam Raimi given full reign to just create hell on screen. That'd be really fun. So Christine is living in hell, being eternally tormented. So one day, after 10 years of just constant agony, flames and torment and screaming and
Sure. Standard
hell.
Yeah.
She finds herself out of the blue, unexpectedly returned to the mortal realm. So it's like snap from fire and brimstone. Suddenly she's back in the real world. For the first time in 10 years of non-stop torture, she feels no pain. She's back in her house and she stood there and just like, what the hell? Justin Long and the psychic, whose name by the way was Ram Dass. I looked it up.
Lovely.
Ram Dass, great. And so Justin Long and the fortune teller are like standing over her like, it worked. And they tell her that they've spent the last 10 years, much like my first idea, they've spent the last 10 years trying to find a way to bring her back from hell. But every attempt they've made so far has failed. Now they've finally perfected a spell that can open a portal in the underworld, and if she can pass through that portal, she may be able to return to the mortal realm.
Like she has, though, right?
I'm getting to that.
Okay.
So then she's like, great, so I'm back. And she's really happy, so relieved. She's crying with joy. And then they're like, not exactly.
T and C's the play.
Yeah, there are T's and C's. Yeah, asterisks. We did manage to open a portal to the underworld, but we actually did that 6 months ago.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it's located in the first circle of hell.
Okay.
And you, Christine, are actually resident on floor number 8. Because, in Dante's Inferno, there are 9 circles of hell. So we spent the last 6 months trying to work out a way to get a message to you. Because you're not actually back in the mortal realm full-time right now. In fact, you're actually going to be dragged back into hell in 15 seconds.
Oh, lovely.
And she's like, what? I want a good Christine reaction.
Yeah.
Because there was a really good reaction to this movie. Like, I beat you, you old bitch. She'll be like, what? And they're like, but quick, take this map and make your way to the first circle of hell. If you get there, if you can find the portal, you may be able to escape. And so that happens. So then she gets dragged back into hell again. She's like, what the motherfucker? Something like that.
Well, probably
Yeah, Yeah, let's keep it PG-13.
Yeah.
So the bulk.
To be fair, I always appreciate like a cut-off swear word rather than a swear word.
It's always funnier. Yeah. Always funnier. Yeah. So the bulk of this film is basically going to be Christine battling her way through the 9 circles of. Well, I guess if she's on floor number 8 out of 9, there's no reason to go back down to 9. So she's going to be battling from 8 to 1 through the circles of hell in an attempt to get to number 1. Yep. So like I said, this is just purely so that to give a reason for Sam Raimi to create 8 different hell dimensions, all with different kinds of torture. I've not thought of what those might be. Feel free to pitch in on that.
Well, so kind of at the end of the film, it looks like she has her skin ripped off.
Yeah, that's just your basic fire and brimstone, yeah.
Yeah, so like maybe that happens, but her skin's not destroyed. Like her skin and her body are separated. Maybe she still feels them both, though.
Okay.
And then there's stuff that happens there. Like maybe she watches as stuff happens to her skin and she can still feel it or something. Maybe there's that. But it could be very sort of sore, in a way.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
It was just like, here's a pit of needles, don't fall in.
Yeah. Sore, but with a sense of humour.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, and obviously, this hell is going to be filled with demons and monsters, but also celebrities. So, as she travels, she's also going to like build up, much like Labyrinth. Obviously, we did Labyrinth a couple of weeks ago. Similar thing, woman travels through this mysterious world, one by one picks up a band of, friends and supporters. And in this one, it's going to be celebrities who might well be in hell.
Okay.
So again, who can you think of who dead celebrities who might be in hell who could like cameo in this film? And for bonus point,
sorry, so people
dead celebrities.
Okay, so I've really got to put my casting hat on.
Yes.
Wait a minute.
Always, Harry's hat has gone backwards. People.
Casting hats on. Okay, well, obviously I recently did David Bowie as Jared Leto, but I'd like to redo that as Tilda Swinton. So.
You think David Bowie's in hell?
Damn it.
He could be.
I was just thinking of dead people.
He had a debauched life,
Okay, well, so Jimmy Savile.
Yeah, I had him written down.
Throw him in there.
Who's playing Jimmy Savile?
I forgotten the guy's name. He was in The Office, and then he was in Pirates of the Caribbean, and
Oh, Mackenzie Crook. He does look like a skinny, younger Jimmy Savile. Actually,
that's a good, right. Actually, that's a solid
that is-
casting. I'm going to quit while I'm ahead with one.
You've got one celebrity. Okay. So I was thinking, I also put down Jimmy Savile.
Yep.
Margaret Thatcher.
Solid, yes.
Yeah.
Let's get Meryl back.
Get Meryl back to reprise her role in this
Yeah.
trashy sequel. It's definitely not beneath her. You could have Steve Jobs.
What's he in hell for? Fuck off.
He was notoriously a bit mean to people. Yeah.
A bit mean to people. Oh, so Eternity in Hell?
She did her job, at the bank.
Hey, I'm not arguing for or against this film. Like, this film, yeah, fine.
Sure.
I'm with you on that. But, like, come on. You're using an iPhone right now.
Look, I don't make the rules.
If he deserves to be in hell, then why are you using an iPhone? Why didn't you buy yourself a Samsung or something?
I don't make the rules. All I'm saying is, in this film, Steve Jobs is in hell. Look, you're going to get more.
You literally make the rules. It's your idea.
Who would play Steve? Oh, who played Steve?
You are God in this world. You know what? You should be there.
I should be. That's a horrible thing to say. You should be in hell. Great. Well, I still think Steve Jobs should be in hell.
Steve Jobs could well be played by Justin Long, who have played him in the past.
Cool, yeah, double role, that'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Or who played him in the better received Steve Jobs film? Was it
Michael Fassbender?
Fassbender, yeah.
But there's also, I've forgotten his name, Mila Kunis's.
Ashton Kutcher?
Yes.
Any of the above could work, yeah.
Yeah, Ashton Kutcher is a good lookalike for a young Steve Jobs. Michael Fassbender is a better actor.
Yeah. I think all three of them should play him. In every scene, it will just switch and they'll never acknowledge it. Yeah.
Nice.
Saddam Hussein, obviously.
Mandy Patinkin.
Yeah, good work. And my last one
By the way, my route to get to Mandy Patinkin right there, Saddam Hussein looks a lot like my dad. My dad also looks a lot like Mandy Patinkin.
Interesting. I've never looked at your dad and thought, Saddam Hussein.
Well, yeah.
And finally, in this gang of celebrities who are in hell, who she meets up with, Alan Rickman.
No. What? What? Why have you put him in hell?
Well, that's going to be the joke. She's going to be, Alan Rickman, what are you doing in hell? And he's going to be like, I played a lot of villains.
Okay. You made a joke about it. That's fine. That's fine.
Cool. So she meets a merry band of hellbound celebrities. Mm-hmm. Together, they fight their way through all the circles of hell, which was going to be the bulk of the film. And finally, they reach the portal. So they see the portal to the next world. And Christine is about to walk through into the mortal realm once again.
Yeah.
When suddenly, before she gets there, she's rugby tackled by the old woman.
Nice.
Who is obviously also in hell. And she just...
Wait, was she not brought back, or is that another idea?
That was my other idea.
Okay.
Separate idea. Yeah.
Yep.
So she's still in hell too. She's suddenly attacked by this old woman who just cannot let go of this fucking grudge. So she's determined that Christine will never escape from hell. Mm-hmm. So they have a very long, very vomit-filled fight scene.
Lovely.
That ends with Christine flinging the old woman into a lake of fire.
Okay.
Yeah. And then triumphantly, Christine staggers towards the portal, and just as she's about to step through, she sees the vision of Justin Long on the other side, like reaching out to her. Mm-hmm. Before she steps through, Justin Long says, Christine, there's one thing I didn't tell you, Christine. In order for you to pass through the portal and return to the mortal realm, there has to be a trade. Someone else has to be dragged down to hell so that the balance is restored. Mm-hmm. Christine, I love you. Let me save you one more time. So Christine looks deep into the eyes of this wonderful, blameless man who loved her and spent 10 years of his life trying to rescue her from hell, and is now willing to doom himself to an eternity of unspeakable torments just to save her one more time. And she says, great, bye. Grabs his hand, shoves him into the lake of fire after the woman, and dives through the portal into the mortal realm once again.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She is ruthless at this point.
Wow,
She's had 10 years in hell.
Yeah.
She wants out.
Yeah, no, that's probably how it would happen.
Yeah. So she wakes up in her house. We're going to have lots of soft lighting again. It's going to be very Sam Raimi style. She's alive and she's unharmed. Mm-hmm. She staggers downstairs. She staggers out through the front door. She's smiling. It's a beautiful sunny day. And she stretches her arms out. She's like, after 10 years, she's alive again. It's the most beautiful feeling. Mm-hmm. And she walks into the street And she's instantly flattened by a speeding bus. And then cut to credits.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then there's going to be a post-credit scene, though.
Right.
It's a very quick one. Where we're going to see the same scene again from the perspective of the bus driver. So she's going to get flattened by this bus. And then we'll pan out to see the driver of the bus. We'll like remove their shades. And it will be the granddaughter of the old woman.
Ah, lovely. Yes.
Because Jesus Christ, can they hold on to a grudge? And that's the end of that one.
I like it.
Yeah. I think that'll be a very Sam Raimi-esque sequel.
Yeah, no, that's very accurate, I think. Yeah. Hey, okay, so my idea is called Drag Me to Hell.
Oh, you do love a good pun.
2 tickets to hell.
Okay.
So for this one, I need a couple that are going to be the protagonists of the film.
Okay.
So it's going to be 2 people. And the first couple that came to my
Hence
mind...
2.
Yes. The first couple that came to my mind that I thought could be a bit fun, a bit campy, could maybe do well in a horror movie. I don't know. I'm not sure if they've done it before. Will Smith and Jade Pinkett-Smith.
Interesting. Yes. Because she's very campy.
Oh, yes. She will fit into this film massively. Will Smith, a bit of new ground for him.
Yeah, not as... Yeah. But I would watch a remake of this film just with Jada Pinkett Smith in the title role.
Oh, God, yeah.
I would very much enjoy that.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to need your help with a lot of this.
Sure.
These 2 are a couple who are getting married in a couple of days.
Okay.
So that's going to come up in a bit. Now, the 2 of them are film directors.
Okay.
And like directors like, say, the Russo brothers or something, they direct films together.
Okay.
And they recently released their latest in an extremely popular franchise called Space Battles.
Space Battles. Well, that sounds like a hit franchise.
And the film is called The Final Flag-Eye.
The final what?
The Final Flag-Eye. So I'm doing Star Wars.
What? Oh, Flag Eyes in Jedi?
Yeah.
What's Flag?
I'm just making up words.
Okay, fine.
Roll with it. So fan expectation for this film was super high after the franchise was so successful a couple of years ago with a film called The Mass Wakes Up.
Okay, sure.
Force Mass.
The Force Man. Oh, okay, see. Wakes up, strikes back. Great. Okay.
Their film, The Final Flag-Eye or whatever, has not been received very well at all. Fans are particularly divided on the film, and as we know, Space Battles fans are the worst.
Sure, yeah.
So they're giving a lot of hate towards the directors and some of the cast.
Fascinated to how this ties back to Drag Me to Hell.
So, okay. One particular fan who this is going to be a cameo right now, so
Okay.
who could that be?
As an embittered super Space Battles / Star Wars fan.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember his real name. Fat Damon.
Ooh,
Jesse.
okay.
What's his name? Jesse Pinkman?
Plemons.
Jesse Plemons, yeah. Is it Jesse Plemons?
Jesse Pinkman is Aaron
Aaron
Paul's character.
Is it Jesse Plemons or is it James Plemons or Jason Plemons or
I think so.
him? Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
I think he'd be good in that role.
Okay.
Do you agree?
Yeah, sure. I was thinking for more of maybe like some kind of famous Star Wars actor or some kind.
Oh, Mark Hamill.
Maybe. Anyone young.
Sorry,
Anyone young that could be.
Daisy Ridley.
Yeah, she's good.
Would she play as a nerd though? Maybe the woman.
You know what? Actually, I've forgotten his name. Finn.
Oh, John Boyega. John
Boyega,
Boyega.
yes.
Yeah, sure, great.
Okay, so he can be this guy.
Sure.
So one particular fan who has a lot of hate for the film franchise, he hatches a plan against the directors Will and Jada, who I've not given names for, but whatever. Their upcoming wedding is public knowledge, and so John Boyega manages to break into their house in the dead of night and find where they're keeping their wedding rings.
Oh, okay.
So he picks them up.
Are they not in the house at the time?
Maybe they are, maybe they aren't, I don't know.
Okay.
So he picks them up and whispers some kind of spell.
Okay.
And then puts them back and leaves with a smug look on his face.
Okay.
That's pretty much his whole character arc.
Okay. So he takes them and then does something to them and then puts them back where they
He
were.
essentially cast a gypsy spell.
Oh, I see.
Of
Okay.
this film onto the wedding rings.
Understood. Okay.
Knowing that the following morning they're going to get married and give each other these cursed wedding rings.
I see. Oh, interesting. Okay.
So, the next morning, Will and Jada wake up and start getting ready for their wedding. And the whole thing, it's a great event. It's lovely.
Sure.
Like, the sun's shining and they've got all their friends round, and it's a great wedding.
Yeah, cool.
Everyone have a great time. It's good. So they have the ceremony outside. Well, as soon as they put the rings on each other's fingers, the sky blackens up and it starts to torrentially rain and blows a gale. So they finish their outdoor ceremony ASAP, and they all run inside.
Okay.
When they get inside, they see that during the ceremony, someone has put up a banner. Written in blood are the words, "For being terrible people, I have placed a curse on your rings, and now you will burn in hell for eternity." # remake the Final Flag Eye, # cursed, # YOLO. The waiters quickly take down a banner and just try and get on with the wedding. That's
Sure.
what they do. And a DJ starts up and everyone tries to sort of move on, have a good time, essentially how they do with the wake in this film.
Is the DJ going to play Miami by Will Smith?
Solid choice.
Yeah.
It's just full Will Smith songs.
Yes.
Yeah. But then things start going wrong. No. And as I've written down here, improv.
Okay.
So what would go wrong? What I'm thinking is, so in this film, obviously, the old lady is the one who's sort of tormenting Christine.
Right.
But then what I want to do here is different Star Wars characters
Okay, I see. Okay.
come and torment Will and Jada Smith.
So they're going to be haunted by Star Wars characters?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay.
And I don't know how or what or who.
Well, let me think. So, Rob,
Maybe,
maybe
Chewbacca could come along and rip off their arms or something in a dream.
in a dream, sure. I feel like instead of the Lamia demon, the obvious answer is Ewoks.
Oh, solid choice.
Yeah.
Solid choice.
Just Ewoks running around
Yep.
everywhere, just like, or Gungans, Jar
Mm-hmm.
Jar Binks-esque Gungans,
Oh, yeah. Okay, so maybe, they've just followed round by Jar Jar Binks,
Yeah.
like, for most of the film.
In fact, yes, you know what? Jar Jar's perfect, because they're going to be haunted by a Jar Jar-esque demon
Mm-hmm.
who speaks like Jar Jar speaks, and they're going to be like, this is so racist!
We've moved past this. We didn't even direct that film.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Is there anything specifically from The Last Jedi that you think could be co-opted as a
Specifically, like,
haunting?
there's those animals that are racing or something, and
Oh, you could do porgs.
porgs.
Yeah. Maybe instead of flies, it's porgs. Like maybe there's a scene where they're asleep and a porg just
climbs
crawls
down Will Smith's throat or
Yes, yes. And then and then he coughs it up. Yeah.
something. Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Like the droids. Could the droids do something?
BB-8. BB-8 can do anything. We've established that BB-8 is like the ultimate all-purpose.
I mean, R2-D2 can spit out oil.
Yeah.
So maybe that happens to sort of like recreate a vomit scene or something. Okay, so these the things are going to happen over the course of the next few days. But after a while, they decide to look for... Well, they've seen the thing about the curse, and so they're like, right, we need to look for a medium. I'm going to help them out of this predicament.
Sure.
So they go online, and they find one. They go to his address, knock on the door, and they're welcomed by Professor Justin Long.
Hooray! Is he going to look crazy?
Yes, absolutely. Like at this point, I'm thinking maybe white hair.
Right, her, sure.
Obviously not neat.
Yeah.
And I don't know, some other stuff. A lot of cats, maybe.
Yes. More than a couple.
Yeah. Way more. Oh, that calls back to Jeepers Creepers as well, doesn't it?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's why I said it.
Yeah. Nice. No, well done. So he sits them down. It's only one scene, really. He sits them down and gives them a bunch of exposition. So they have 3 days from when they receive the gifts to pass them on to someone else who will then burn in hell.
Right.
And he explains the plot of the first movie to them. Really.
Sure. The gifts being their wedding rings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So they've got to pass them on to someone else or else they're going to go and burn in hell.
Sure. In 3 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, 3 days from their wedding ceremony, which may have been a day or two ago. I don't know.
Sure.
So they leave and start thinking about who to give their rings to.
Sorry, every time you say rings.
Sorry?
So I'm being very immature.
Lovely. Thank you, John. Glad to have you. Applicants for the podcast, beyondthebox at gmail.com. So yeah, they start bringing up different points about the morality of giving the curses away.
Sure.
And they both completely disagree with each other. Essentially, they fall out massively because married life is almost a literal hell for them. It's, close to a literal hell.
As it is for many people.
Yeah. So, in just a couple of days, they both grow to hate each other very, very quickly.
Interesting. Okay.
And pretty much become the twits.
I like it. Okay.
Now, cue a montage of their marriage breaking down.
Okay. Over the course of 48 hours.
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, on the morning of what they know is that going to be their final day, they're going to get dragged to hell, let's say at midday, for whatever reason.
Sure.
They're now just two people, hate each other, but still living together for some reason.
Sure. As opposed to Justin Long and Christine, who love each other but never spend time together.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So they both hate each other so much that they each are trying to pan off their own rings to each other.
Yeah.
So they're just coming up with different gifts, kind of in like a proposal sort of way. You're just like, oh, hi darling, have a glass of champagne, and there's like the ring at the bottom.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, have a slice of cake, or just different things like that.
Like it. I like this idea of like Jada Pinkett-Smith and Will Smith playing a married couple who hate each other.
Yeah.
I think that there's definitely something there.
Yeah, it'd be good. And so after a while of that sort of back and forth, they both just give in to the fact that they're going to hell.
Okay.
And so they're both sitting on their armchairs, just staring at a clock, waiting for the final minutes to pass.
Oh, not very proactive, but sure.
Well, they've just given up. Like
Okay.
they don't want to give their rings to 20 people, because that would be... Sorry, what's going through your head?
You know exactly what's going through my head.
Okay, great. Just had to clarify. And then all of a sudden, their annoying neighbour's dog runs through.
You had to bring a dog in, didn't you?
And they both look at each other, sharing a knowing nod. And they take their rings and tie them to a piece of food.
Okay.
Throw the piece of food out into the garden. And they hear as their neighbour says, Lara, what have you got there? And then that neighbour screams. And then we cut to black.
So you're ending with a dog
Mm-hmm.
being dragged into hell?
Essentially, yes.
Okay. So what you're positing here,
Yeah.
for listeners who do not live in our immediate vicinity, who are not in our social circle, is that Will Smith and Jada Pinkett-Smith live next door to our friend, Louise,
Essentially.
notable dog owner.
Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith live next to Burley Park Station, yes.
Sure. Times are hard, yeah. Even though they're in this film, they are playing famous directors.
I love how that's what you're taking from this, but yeah.
Okay, interesting. No, I like it. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, great.
No, the idea, the part that I like the most is the whole Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith playing like a couple who hate each other.
Oh, yeah.
That definitely has a potential for like a War of the not War of the Worlds, War of the Roses style black comedy. I mean, that's very, very good. And yeah, finishing it by having actually, as a final shot, having a dog being dragged into hell, like, like woof, 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 like, that is pretty damn funny. So, yeah. No, like it.
Great.
I think there's definitely something there. That is
Great stuff.
cool. Shall we get to some listener submissions then?
If we could.
I think we better. Okay. So, your drinking game this week is...
Oh, I forgot about the drinking game thing.
I think it's going to be puns again. Puns on the title.
Sure.
It's going to be a common one, but that's basically where we are with this. So, okay. Mike Carey said, "Put me back in hell a little more gently this time, please."
Yeah, that sounds like a solid pun.
Ellen Cardgage says, "Oh God, who's president? Drag me back to hell again, please."
Yep.
Stuart Gipp said, "RuPaul's Drag Me to Hell."
I saw that one coming.
Yeah.
That had to happen.
I was tempted to do that myself, but I took the high road. Chris Lutman had a serious idea. So Justin Long starts having nightmares about what happened to Christine and has to go and rescue her, finds out he's cursed too, and it's the exact same plot but happens to a different person, but maybe with a bit more cultural sensitivity around the evil witch.
Sure.
Garrett Hunter said, "An Evil Dead Drag Me to Hell crossover. Justin Long's character gets a hold of the Necronomicon and goes looking for the prophesized El Jefe. On the way, he meets Ash Williams and goes on to save Alison Lohman, only to discover that she's a Deadite." So that's a classic Evil Dead. I can see from your look of recognition
Given I've not
that
seen
you
Evil
get
Dead.
all those references. Okay, we need to have a night, genuinely. We need to have a night where you and me, we will have an Evil Dead marathon. They're three very fun movies.
Okay,
We should do that sometime soon.
sure.
We will sort them because you need to see them. Very good. Kevin Hendricks said, "Drag me from hell and then no more dragging, please."
Yep.
Brian Hunt suggested a PG version of this film called Pull Me to Heck.
Okay, yeah.
Jason Risserstein said, "Drag Me to Hell 2, Bat Out of Hell, a Meatloaf album."
Oh, I meant to say for yours, the final one where she gets herself back out of hell.
Yeah.
As soon as the credits roll, theme tune, Darkness, One-Way Ticket to Hell and Back.
Is that a Meatloaf song?
It's similar.
Okay.
It's a similar kind of genre.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
One-Way Ticket to Hell and Back. It's been in my head all day.
Really?
It's just so relevant for this film.
I don't think I know that song.
Oh, it's good.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Phil Brown said, "Alison Lohman drags Bruce Campbell, who starred in the Evil Dead trilogy, down to hell and forces him to fight Freddy and Jason. Then I get dragged to hell for posting this hacky idea." So I guess it's like a confluence of the horror movie characters. Oh, this is my favourite one, actually. Brian Markowski said, "Drag me to Hell's Kitchen," starring Gordon Ramsay.
Oh man, that is a
That is
solid
a
idea.
good idea.
Solid idea.
Yeah. John Scruffini.
So I need to drink twice for that
Sure,
one.
sure. Do what you need to do.
Carry on.
John Scruffini proposed a gay musical version of this film called Drag Me to Hello Dolly.
All right.
Yeah. Will Means suggested Drag Me to Helsinki, a Finnish version of this movie.
Sure.
Yeah. John McCoy said Drag Me on Twitter. Vanessa Riley said Grad Me to Hell, the college years.
Okay. Nice.
Phil Catterall said, here's the plot for Drag Me to Hell 2. Oh, Drag Me to Hell. Same as what you had, yeah. Someone is rude to an old Romany woman, but then realises they've been rude and apologises, and is, as a result, not cursed. We then follow the protagonist as they do their groceries, pick up their dry cleaning, and arrange a service for their car. So the idea is that if she just said sorry, the whole film could have been avoided.
Yeah.
Okay. Ryan Almquist said, pull me gently to Hades.
Yep. Yep.
Rob Trainer said, the cat comes back, and this time he's mad as hell. Daniel Link said a Christian version called Raise Me to Heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Heavy Metal Horrorcast at HMHcast said, again, RuPaul's Drag Me to Hell race. The competition heats up as Ru's quest to find the most fierce drag queen superstar continues in hell.
Mm-hmm.
Never has RuPaul's catchphrase of lip sync for your life had more meaning.
Solid.
Yeah. The Contrarians at We Are the Contrarians. Drag MI Free to Hell.
Mm-hmm.
A sidequel crossover between Sam Raimi's movie and J.J. Abrams' Ethan Hunt adventure.
Nice. Yeah.
So Tom Cruise being dragged into hell. I think I can see that.
I'd watch that.
I would watch the shit out of that movie.
Yeah.
We Watched a Thing at We Watched a Thing. Drag Me to Hell again. A very popular choice. Yeah.
I'm glad people picked up on that.
Yeah. They admit they've not seen this movie, but their sequel involves Vin Diesel as he drag races Justin Long to Hell's Kitchen, New York, followed of course by Drag M Free to Hell. In the sequel for Drag Me to Hell, Christine spends the first 35 minutes trying to get out of hell, then the last hour trying to get back in once she finds out that Donald Trump is the president.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
False Starts Podcast at False Starts Pod. Sam Raimi makes Drag Me to Hell 2. It's pretty much a remake of the first movie, except Christine is way more badass. In the end, she gets dragged to hell, as per. But the third film, she fights her way out of hell using her trusty knife and blammo stick. She manages to escape through a portal, anticipating my idea, and hears a man's voice echoing through it. In the fourth film, Christine teams up with Ash from The Evil Dead, Pablo and Kelly, also from The Evil Dead. It's been a while since I've watched it. Having come back to Hell on Earth in the future, we wrap up with Drag Me to Hell and the Evil Dead series in a nice little bow. And finally, Blokebusters admitted they didn't enjoy this film very much. Not enough to do a full...
Really?
I know, I'm surprised. Not enough to come up with a full sequel plot, but they've had a go. Drag Me Back from Hell. Justin Long enlists Constantine, yes, that Constantine,
Okay.
to go to hell and bring Christine back. But hell is exactly like The Good Place, the TV show, which I don't think you've seen, but I've seen.
I've seen bits of.
It's good. She doesn't want to leave, but he drags her back to the real world, and she seems to be fine, but the film ends with her killing Justin Long before committing suicide.
No, that's fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah, he said, and Blokebusters say, yeah, we were kind of bored by this film, so we're just going to go dark. Fair enough.
We're going dark for this one.
Clearly. I mean, it's already a pretty dark film.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are our sequel ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a sequel idea for Drag Me to Hell, or any film we've done in the past, let us know. We are Beyond the Box Set. You can find us at beyondtheboxset.com. Our podcast is available on all good podcasting platforms, including iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Acast. Anywhere you can find podcasts. And if you can't find us, let us know, and we will try to get there. You can also find us on social media, on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Just search Beyond the Box Set or at Beyond the Box Set on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
You can find us on patreon.com for exclusive bonus material, as Harry mentioned earlier in the show. And we have merchandise available at tpublic.com. Again, just search Beyond the Box Set.
So next week, I believe it's your choice.
It is. I have a film. So next week, I have decided we are going to do a classic film of the 80s, a very referential film of the 80s. I don't think you'll have seen it. It is called Blue Velvet.
Sure, I've not even heard of it, but
No?
I can tell you, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great.
Good. Well, I hope you enjoy it. I mean, I'm intrigued to hear your reaction to it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're not having any like theme weeks or theme months or anything. I'm just trying to throw out a few films that are like classic. You know, like Jerry Maguire, just like classics.
Yeah.
Films everyone knows, like Yentl as well. Just, you know, get a few of those out in there. Just continue my education process, which is what this podcast largely is for me. It's just like an education program for you. So
It's been fun.
great. Well, I hope you will enjoy Blue Velvet. I guess we'll find out.
Lovely. All right, well, thank you really for listening, as always, and see you next week.
For Blue Velvet. Bye.
Bye.